This is a help video to show you how to query and filter using the new Island County resource ICGeoMap. So first, to get to the toolbar, we can double click here and we're going to go over using query and filter. So first, using query, basically querying is looking at the attributes and selecting certain parcels based off of what you're looking for. So you can query any of the data layers that are available. I'll start out with parcels, just because that's a common one. And you can choose to query in the map area or current extent. So I'm just going to kind of zoom in on the map, and then I'm going to choose current extent. And now we're only going to be querying the parcels that we can see that are loading. So let's query just the GIS acres first. So GIS acres are greater than 10. That'll be the first thing that we want to query. So we'll search that, and you'll see that it's highlighted 350 where the GIS acres is greater than 10. So, and you know, as you might have learned in the other videos, if you click up here, you've got some options. You can export this, view it in a table, create mailing labels, all sorts of things. So let's go back to our query. So all of the following must be true, at least one. So this is if we want to add something else. So let's do add a condition. So the GIS acres are greater than 10 and the assessed value is greater than 500,000. And we had 350, but now we're down to 56. So using that query, they had to be both conditions. If we change this to OR, and we search, we now have significantly more. We now have 881. So we queried the parcels that are greater than 10 or the assessed value was greater than 500,000. So these are just ways that you can work with that data set. So again, working with all these parcels, I can export this to a spreadsheet, to a shapefile, and I can work further with that data. So let's go back. Now, you'll notice the filter tool looks really similar. So it's kind of the same idea, except the only difference is this turns everything else off in a map. So I'm going to go here and run the same query that I did. And now I'm going to hit filter. Now notice everything else is turned off. I'm left only with the parcels that are greater than 10 acres. And you can do the same thing. You can have an OR statement here by adding a clause. So this is going to do this or that, or this and that. So these are the ways that you can query all the different GIS layers that are available. Something to note is after you filter, make sure you come back here and then clear it. Otherwise, if you filter and then you go try to do a query, you can only query the information that's left in the map. So you won't be doing a full query. You'll be left with whatever you left turned on. So that's basically how you can run queries and filters. Another thing I wanted to point out in the layer list, so since you're doing some analysis, it's important to know that all of these data layers, if I click here, I have a link to view their metadata. So metadata is information about the data. So you can look at the data quality to figure out how accurate the data is or where it came from. So something to keep in mind if you start dabbling into using analysis. Thanks.